the molasses, put down the beer. You're going to get the green up process, and you're going to be feeding the microbial life. And both are going to take off at the same time, and that grass is going to pop green super quick.
So even though our yards, because with the winter freeze, knowing how to wake it all back up again to make it all green again. So if it's all brown, and since you're the green wizard and you know how to make it green.
Don't paint your grass, Ann.
Don't paint your grass. Yes. And so the best way to get it green again, you said, is alfalfa, and then molasses, and then stale beer.
Right.
So stale beer means you leave it sitting for how long?
How long does it take beer to go flat? You can pour it in a bucket, and you can swirl it around, and you can pour it in another bucket. And the more you aerate it, the more the alcohol comes off. You can use that the same day.
Oh, that's
let it sit overnight. It's even better.
Even better.
Yeah. Okay. So stale beer. You did that last year, didn't you?
Actually, we did do that last year, and you put the molasses in a hose-end sprayer and just spray the heck out of your yard, and we did that, and boy, it made a difference.
And how did it smell?
Actually, it smelled very sweet.
There you go.
That smelled sweet.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want it to smell hoppy. That's too much. That's when you put too much instant nitrogen into your grass.
Okay.
You want that sweet smell.
Sweet smell.
Yeah.
It's kind of a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I put three quarters beer in the hose end sprayer, and then I fill the rest with that thick molasses.
Okay.
And I get that shaken up and stirred up real good.
Uh-huh.
And the molasses is enough to overwhelm it. And that's enough to spray down your lawn.
All right. That's good. I'll make sure that we do that this time. There was another product that you suggested that we use, and that product is gluten. You suggested spreading gluten on the yard.
Now, I wanted to discuss this because...
hold on, Ken. Before you get to that, let me ask a question.
Okay.
Is there any order when you're using the alfalfa, the molasses, and the stale beer? Is there any certain order to that, or you spray them on your lawn in any order?
I like to have the alfalfa down before I get it wet because it instantly opens up.
So if we got it at the feed store as pellets, last time we got cubes, should we have broken those open? Like made them?
As soon as they get wet, they break down.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if someone just has alfalfa hay, right, they could just spread that out? Is that harder?
I would take the alfalfa hay and go directly into the garden with it.
Okay. To the garden.
I would not lay alfalfa hay over top of dead grass or dormant grass.
Yeah. Okay.
Dormant grass. Okay. That's helpful. All right. So you were asking about gluten.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is the proper time or sequence to ask about that, but we had done some work just thinking about and researching gluten, and we know that it can be harmful for humans, but it can be really good for grass. So maybe you could tell us about that a little bit more.
It's in his book.
What you guys just experienced is going to trigger a problem all over Texas, and that was with that frost.
Uh-huh.
A lot of seeds, a lot of weed seeds must overwinter and go into cold dormancy before they'll come to life.
Okay.
The last time you guys had a frost and a good snow like this,
yes,
nearly 100 years ago.
I know.
You guys are going to see some brand new weeds you've never seen before.
It's funny.
Guys in Texas are in trouble.
I can't wait.
Well, and it's funny you know that, because I was wondering about that because they kept saying it's the worst snow ever, worst freeze ever. And I always know to go back to the Farmer's Almanac and look at the worst freeze ever. And you're right, it was 1911. And there was that the last one?
I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not like they say global warming. This is what the planet naturally does.
Every 100 years.
It didn't happen last year. It doesn't mean it's global warming. I'm sorry.
But they can use it because no one remembers 100 years ago. The Farmer's Almanac, every time I think it's the worst flood or the worst freeze or the worst whatever, I go back to the Farmer's Almanac, and it's always about 100 years ago. Sometimes it's like 50 years ago, because we have a short memory, right, nowadays. But that's interesting. So you're saying after the freeze, we're going to get all these weeds?
You're going to get some brand new weeds no one has seen in Texas
Mm.
that was alive back then.
Wow.
So you're in some trouble. But now's the time for everybody to go, okay, let's try and get ahead of this and let's get the corn gluten down. Because the corn gluten is going to attack those weed seeds hopefully before they germinate.
Yes.
We need to attack those things now. And
Will
you
do,
should
yeah.
do that, I mean, periodically throughout the year anyways. Like when you see dandelion seeds floating around and pollen is out and what have you, that's when you want to get the corn gluten down.
Okay,
Keep
good.
in mind though, 8 weeks after you put corn gluten down and it's gotten wet, it becomes a nitrogen feeder for all your plants.
Wow.
Wow.
So not only does it wipe out your weed seeds, 8 weeks later, you're going to have a blast of nitrogen and your grass is going to be green again.
So it does double duty.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Why go out and pay for a chemical that might kill your weeds?
Right.
And all I ever saw it do was make the weeds stronger and meaner.
Yeah.
Why, when corn gluten in the powder form or any form will dehydrate and kill off all weed seeds.
So we can, do we even put it in our garden or in our landscaping and everywhere?
Everywhere.
Huh.
All right.
Did
All
we
right.
do that last year? Did we put it
Yeah,
everywhere?
actually, we did. Yeah. Yeah, we did put it everywhere.
You
And
put
so-
it down like a thick yellow blanket.
Thick yellow blanket. Okay. Well,
I walk through it barefoot because everything I do is organic and it is safe. And I keep trying to prove it to my neighbors. I put nothing down that's toxic and nothing's going to hurt me.
Right. Good.
well, and if we do put anything down toxic, we pay the price later. And that's why you have people when it's not recovering from a freeze like we're doing today, but you have people put Dawn and wash their lawns with Dawn dish soap.
To get the chemicals out.
Yeah, and we had I had a lady on when I interviewed for the first time that has 5 acres, and she did that. She didn't do all 5 acres, but the acre where her house is, she did about,
Right.
and where her kids play and everything. She cleaned all the chemicals off with Dawn dish soap and just a hose, and
Just a little
it was
bit,
amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Well, this is a good place to take a break, not for this show, but for the radio show. And so we're going to take a pause, and we shall let you hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Good.
Okay, now we're back. So we have our show on Sundays at 8 a.m. on 1160 a.m. in Dallas, Fort Worth, and that's on KBDT, 1160 a.m. And we stream this immediately as we're recording it, but then we also will put it on the radio. So, all right. Welcome back, Ron. We are loving what you're telling us how to bring our lawns back from the winter freeze. I see you have the book behind you. You have, so that I don't have to keep holding it up. You'll have to teach me how to do the banner on the live stream. I see it. Yes.
You know, Ron, one of the things that we wanted to do was to make sure that our listening audience was reminded about your book, The Green Wizard's Guide. And it's that handbook that I really, really like. And so we would like to encourage people out there who are listening who don't have a copy of this book yet to order some or order one from you. How would be the best way for them to do that?
Just go to Amazon, type in Green Wizard's Guide, pops right up.
Okay.
If you're a bookstore type of person, I'm available in Barnes & Noble at request. They
Good.
They get copies of the books in.
Well, and we have 5 or 4
Yeah, I think we have 4 or 5 copies here that
to
we
give
can,
away today.
Yeah, we'd love to give some away for
Our
people who
listeners.
are listening.
Yeah.
And
So if you just let me know you'd like a free book, I will send it to you. And but you can also go on Amazon.com and order one. That's what we've done before. We give them out a lot, so we tell about it a lot because it's so simple, Ron. Your book is so simple and so easy to use, and then we see the results, and it's amazing.
right.
And that's why we were so bummed to go out after the freeze and see when we had our yard looking so good. And
So I probably shouldn't show you any pictures of my front yard.
no, I don't want to see pictures of your yard. I see sometimes on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, and how green it is and how lush your lawn is. You know, you take pictures of your green, lush lawn grass, And
Just about every week.
and you're in the north, and that's
Yeah.
crazy that it's so beautiful.
I'm right up off of Lake Erie, right in the snow belt. We get hammered when we get it.
Wow, isn't that something?
And
So
my grass grows under the snow.
and then once
I have
this
to cut it already.
yes, so you do the same thing. So you do this a lot. If you have a snow every year, so we don't have snow every year. Do you recover your lawn? No.
No. That's a big misunderstanding. You're dealing with a different situation. You guys are just dealing with a snowstorm you've never dealt with before.
Right.
But everybody in Texas has got to scramble and take care of these problems. The whole trick and the secret to the Green Wizard's Guide is once you've started doing this, the very first year that you really attack it and follow the steps in the guide, the following year you don't have to.
Oh, good.
You might want to amp it up a little bit, and you might want to use this trick or this trick or this trick, as years go by, and you want to constantly keep feeding and constantly keep upping, and, especially when you get into your garden and there's all sorts of other added things in there, like blooming minerals.
Right.
In the garden when you're pulling vitamins and minerals out to give you those luscious fruits and vegetables and what have you out of your gardens, you need to constantly replenish that. Not necessarily true in your yard and in your grass.
Right.
Alfalfa has some very interesting and very unique properties to it. Not only is it a mineral base, but it's a plant steroid.
Oh.
I often suggest people put this in their gardens when they're putting their plants in, because it will feed the plant a steroid boost, a natural steroid boost. That's why they feed it to horses and rabbits and chickens. And it's a natural steroid. They've known about it for hundreds of years. We're just now starting to rediscover that we can use this in our yard and in our gardens to get that added boost and get stronger plants. But look at tomato plants. Look at the vine. How flimsy they can get and how they can just kind of fold over themselves as we start raising them higher and higher on trellis work. When you put it on a steroid and you put it on eggshells and give it more of this and more of that, all of this is covered in the book. It makes those vines that much stronger. That's why my tomato plants can reach 19 feet long and still produce.
No, are you serious? Good night. Wow.
That's not multiple. That's one plant. 600 pounds of tomatoes.
That sounds like a monster plant.
Wow.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
All of these secrets and all of these little tricks, I've made all the mistakes. And I listed them all, and I listed all my neighbors giving me what neighbors give you.
Right.
Something they don't understand or trying to be the Joneses. And the end result, when I walked away and went organic, still leaves my neighbors in awe every single year.
Well, that's why you're called. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's all in the guide. They can get on Amazon, get the book, see and learn from my mistakes, not make the mistakes themselves, and get the secrets, get the correct way to organically boost your yard now. Not next month, not 6 months from now,
but now,
and get the results.
Well, and that's wonderful. We did do all this stuff, and that's how our yard got the way it was. It was, I say, because of the freeze so we got to get it back. But we have to take another short break, and we will be right back. Welcome back. We have the Green Wizard, who has the Green Wizard guide for us, and to get our yards looking beautiful. Well, Ron, last year we did the alfalfa and the molasses and the gluten and the beer, the Stell beer.
Right.
Did we do anything else?
Oh, probably. I'll tell you one thing we did that I don't know when you might want to touch on this, but we've really come to believe in composting. And that grows microbes and different organisms as well, doesn't it, Ron?
Yes, and it helps break down everything that you put into it. Now, there are a few things that they warn you shouldn't put in there because it'll attract this and it'll attract that. And depending on how you compost, whether you're going for high speed or whether you're this or whether There's all sorts of these variables that they keep telling you not to do.
Uh-huh.
I haven't found anything yet that can't go in compost. Sorry.
That's great. Good
all
news.
you have to remember is never let it get over 160 degrees and let it go to town.
So
when it gets over 160, it becomes acidic and it becomes toxic and you can't use it anywhere.
Well, how do we, because, we live where it's hot. It doesn't get 160 in Texas, but that doesn't mean that the layers in the compost don't get really hot.
When that pile starts to warm up, because the microbial life going to work inside, that's why a lot of farmers in their greenhouses will use a compost pile to heat the greenhouse, because it will produce that kind of heat without you touching it.
Wow.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. You got to kind of monitor those things. You don't want those near your house and in the woods or whatever. You could have a fire.
Well, is that why you're supposed to turn the compost pile for the heat?
Exactly. Heat and added oxygen.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. It's very hard to turn.
Your moisture content. You want to watch your heat temperature. But only turn 1/3 of the compost. Turn 1/3. Water it down. Put it back in. Next time you come back, the next day, turn a different third of the compost pile. Add moisture so it doesn't catch on fire, and turn it.
How do you turn so that's what we have to work on, because ours is on the ground. It's not we don't have one of the, one of our friends has the turning compost thing she ordered, but we do it by hand. Yeah.
Do it nature's way. That's how
we do it by hand.
If it does it in the woods, why would you put it in a big black box that costs you $150 that may or may not drain off? It's going to get too hot in Texas.
Right. Well, we just, I normally just use a pitchfork.
It's work.
Turn it over,
It's work.
Go get yourself a couple of pallets, wire the pallets together so that they're standing, side by side on 3 sides. Put your compost pile in the middle and turn it every once in a while and throw some water on it. Add new stuff to it all the time. You're going to see black gold coming out of it.
Yeah, we feel like
it
it's
is
amazing.
It does. It looks like that. My dad used to do that. And he had 3 different stands of it, and he did that all the time.
Ron, we get a lot of leaves, because we're near the lake. We're right on the lake, and we have leaves like crazy. On our ranch, we had no leaves, none. But here we have leaves like crazy. And so our compost has a lot of leaves in it. Is that going to make it too acidic? No.
That's perfect. That's the minerals.
Oh, good.
All those different colors. Every color is a different mineral that you need in your garden.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely perfect. You want all of that.
Okay.
You don't want just one type of leaf going into your compost because you're only getting one mineral. You want multiple colors going in. There's a measurement, and this would be in the second book, of how much brown material versus your woody material versus your green material goes in a compost pile. There's a calculation that goes into that brings up the heat level.
Okay.
So all the leaves that you got, great.
Oh, that's so good.
If you're not adding green and you're not adding direct waste right out of your kitchen, you don't have to worry about it catching on fire because you don't have that high microbial activity. It's going to break down slow. That's why I say use leaves on your garden, because it breaks down slow all winter long and feeds all those minerals back into the soil.
We've really followed through on that, and we put leaves everywhere all over our garden, and it's really served us well to do that.
Did you get garlic planted this past year?
No, we didn't. Oh, yeah. Well, we planted some. Only on one side of the house. We planted like 3 or 4 garlic plants right over there.
Yeah, we did.
And they're so pretty. I can't believe how pretty they are. But we did not do it back in the garden in the back. Why didn't we do that? We'll have to do that. And what does garlic do? Remind me again what garlic does when you plant it.
It drives off all of the fleas and ticks and bugs and what have you.
So is it too late to plant? Can we plant it now?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that now. Really? So how many would we need for the yard? Like,
how big's your yard?
Oh.
How many flower beds do you have?
So that's
you don't have to harvest them.
4.
You can leave them alone and let them go year after year. They're evolved. They keep returning.
So we can put them in every flower bed. And around. Okay. And then all in the landscaping, kind of use it in all the landscaping. We should do that. Yes. I didn't know that's the reason. No fleas
Yeah,
or.
because if you have pets and you have kids that are out playing in your yard and what have you, do you want them picking up on that stuff? You don't want them coming in with flea bites and that.
No,
They don't
I
want
didn't
to put it in
know.
grandma's yard anymore.
Oh my gosh.
It's also good for vampires, Ron. You know?
Hey, no, it's werewolves. It's in the book.
Is it werewolves? I thought it was vampires. I thought silver bullets were werewolves. I don't know.
hey, it's just been a long time since we watched some of those. You mentioned. You mentioned
your clay problem, Jim.
Oh,
well, I was going to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because we have a lot of clay around here. Now, we don't here where we are now because it's very sandy loam from the lake and everything. But where we were before, man, there was this black stuff that
it was called black
like
gumbo.
It was like glue. They call it black gumbo.
Yeah, it was.
It would run off. Well, and what was it? Your daughter's backyard had that issue.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Standing water.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did I tell you to get out there in your yard?
Well, it was. I think it was. You recommended the alfalfa again, and no
molasses.
The salt.
Salt. Oh.
I can't remember the salt, but
Didn't read the book.
No, we did, but we didn't. We weren't reading it for hard soil. Okay, so one of the things that I know you tell us for definitely to not leave soil uncovered. That if we have a grassy area that the grass has died, don't leave the ground uncovered because it'll get really hard, right?
Crack it open because all you're going to do is contribute to the clayification, as I call it.
So we took our compost and covered it. Or we got mulch and covered it. So I actually did that instead. I don't know why I didn't get a salt.
Well, wait a minute, because you're talking about Epsom salt, right?
There you go.
No, we did that.
We did that.
Oh, we did Epsom
I was thinking
salt.
like
Yeah,
sodium
no,
chloride, but we're talking Epsom salt here,
No,
right?
I forgot that.
Yeah, because that wouldn't work. I kept thinking, we didn't use salt. And then it occurred to me that we did use Epsom salt.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, it did help.
What happened in her backyard with all the extra moisture?
Well, what's interesting is it got really pretty back there and it got great. And one of the things that was strange is the fleas went away, actually. And I didn't know, and I thought maybe it was the Epsom salt or something.
It contributes to it because there's a high iron content that drives them off.
Huh. Yes. So she's now, her backyard before the freeze looked great and her dogs are out there. She was also worried about poison ivy. She had gotten after that some poison ivy. So she, got rid of that. But anyway, you mentioned the Bloomin' Minerals. Is that Dr. Wallach's Longevity Bloomin' Minerals from Longevity?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So longevity.com. You can go.
We've got the Mighty 90, and the Mighty 90 is derived from Bloomin' Minerals, from our source. That's the source that we use for all of our minerals in the Mighty 90 system with Longevity.
Mm.
And what they have done is they have given us some of those minerals and some of those abilities to not only ingest them, but we can put them in our garden and get them back out of the fruits and vegetables that we all need. And the trouble that we're in, that not quite everybody in America and the rest of the world hasn't heard yet, is we are out of supplies on a lot of our fruits, vegetables, and minerals this year.
Mm-hmm.
These things have been taken away or given to other countries that are in desperate need.
Mm.
We don't have them this year. We're going to have to grow our own victory gardens. I hate to say it, but we're in trouble. There's going to be a huge shortage this year. And a lot of farmers are things are being done.
Yeah.
Not good. And the only way we're going to protect ourselves and get our health back. I mean, let's be honest. When you go outside and you spend time in your garden, not weeding, that's what people misunderstand. No. I don't weed my garden. I don't have weed. When you spend time outside, your mental health improves. You're ingesting the oxygen. You're in contact with the earth, the vibration of the earth. All of these things contribute to a healthy mind and a healthy body. When we start using Dr. Wallach's minerals and we start ingesting them out of the fruits that they belong in, everything gets better. Light gets better. Vitamin D gets everything you intake gets better.
Yes, that's true.
And peace of mind can come a long ways just by growing a plant in your backyard or in your apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You can grow a little cherry tomato plant right there in your apartment, and it will improve the oxygen levels, and it will improve your mood. It will improve everything. And if you're probably somebody like Ann, you probably talk to your plants as you walk around the house all day long looking for a bar of chocolate.
Oh, she has names for them, yes.
I have names for my plants, which Jim thinks so weird.
It's all right, though. It's okay.
Yes. Well, and it just, I've actually wanted to interview the guy that has done the testing on plants, and he hooks up it's almost like a lie detector machine to the plants. Have you read about that? And then he took one and he cut a leaf, and it made the lie detector thing go way up. He said it was like it was screaming. And then he brought another plant into the room, and both plants the thing went up. Like he was telling the other plant, oh no, he's going to cut us. So, he's done all this test that plants are actually alive, which we know they're alive. We know they're live plants, but do we know that they actually have these emotions? And so I would love to interview him. Right. And so he said by talking to them, giving positive energy to them, they grow faster and grow better. And that's why I do that. I actually do. I have Paulina and I have Patty and I have different ones. And so It helps me feel like more. And I honestly, by naming them and talk, when I'm watering them, or if I walk by and go, oh, you're not looking very good, it makes me think about them more often to take care of them. It's kind of a strange thing. But anyway, I've read about that. And so I do name them. So you mentioned the Epsom salts. Is that something that you would normally put on your yard, or do you just put it on your yard if the ground is hard?
When you're dealing with clay.
Oh, clay.
Every mineral that you add to your yard is a plus. Doesn't matter, regardless of how you look at it. Every time you add a mineral, it's going to improve your yard and your soil conditions. Because the microbial life, when in search of a mineral for a specific plant, can be tracked at up to a mile away. So if you have a high mineral content in your front yard that something in your backyard needs, the microbial life can bring it back to that plant.
Oh, that's cool. So when would we put down the bloomin' minerals then?
Whenever.
Oh, whenever. And you just spread them all over like we've done before. So we take Dr. Wallach's minerals for our bodies. It makes sense we put them on the ground. So you just order. So we can order them a real big thing of them, right? They come in different sizes.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to get the little one. You can get a.
Well, I mean, if you're just doing a small garden, less than an acre or something like that, just order the small bag of them. If you've got house plants, order the small bag of them. If you're going to do a full 200 acres or whatever, I would suggest get a hold of Longevity themselves and order the really, really, really big one to deal with that kind of structure.
So what is your Longevity website, Ron?
I don't know.
That you order from? Yeah, because, I know mine is docshop.com from longevity.com. So you used to just put in doc, because we call him Doc Wallach, docshop.com. So longevity.com, docshop. Anyway, but I tell you, that's so wonderful. Now, adding those, you only add Epsom salt when it's clay, right?
Right.
And so after we add all this stuff, and we get our yard. So how long will it take for it to repair?
Weeks.
Oh, weeks. Okay, weeks isn't bad. And I was
We're
thinking.
not looking at a lifetime project here. Organics doesn't work that way. We're helping Mother Nature along. Mother Nature's got all those plants out there driving all of her roots down into the soil. And here we come along and we can either throw a chemical on it and burn the end of the roots and stop our plants from going deep.
Yes.
Or we can add minerals like Epsom salt and increase the root base and make it stronger and start breaking that clay up and releasing the minerals that are in the clay as we turn it back into soil, back into dirt, back into topsoil. That's the whole goal. It's been tested in a lot of places and a lot of farms. When they were left alone and left organic, topsoil can be up to 16 feet deep.
Wow.
Well, that would be great. So when we get back, I wanted.
Go that deep.
Yes.
So when
Can we
you
talk?
yard correctly, no chemicals, but understand, just like you were saying, how the plants talk to each other, it's also been tested over multiple acres where they went to one side and they connected probes to the plants, and on the other side of the property, they sprayed Roundup, and all of the plants all the way across those acres responded immediately in defense.
Wow, that's cool.
Roundup is that bad, and the microbial life and the plants all communicated, and everything went into shock.
Well, okay, so this is a good.
Bad to use the chemicals versus using organic.
Let's take a break right now on the radio show and let our sponsors talk, and then we'll be right back. Okay, thanks, Ron.
Get you a chocolate sponsor.
Well, and I had some questions from people. People, say that again. What did you say? Your sponsor. I heard the sponsor.
We need to get you a chocolate sponsor.
Yeah, I'm not eating chocolate anymore. I've been no sugar and no bad carbs, and I've lost like 25 pounds. So I know I've got like 15 to go. So I've been doing really well. I tell you. And yesterday I was so overwhelmed because I did a show yesterday, and then somebody called. I was editing the show and I deleted it. And I luckily I was streaming it. So I got to download the video, edit the sound. It just took 5 hours versus 30 minutes. But I had something else going on and people calling me, needing me. And I almost felt like I was going to break down. And so I told Jim, I feel like I want some chocolate, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to sit down and cry a little bit, and then I'll be okay. And then I was okay.
Wait a minute. There is, and Dr. Wallach has backed this up himself, there is proven study that high cacao chocolate, 90 or better, is good for you in proportion,
right?
Because it's anti-cancer.
Yes. Well, and when I lose the weight I want, and so I don't have the sugar spikes, I would only do that kind of chocolate. Right. And if I do a little bit more, yeah, and it does help with stress. And that's why I go, like, when I get real stressed, I kind of think about that. But I have this trouble with just eating, Dr. Wallach, and he's so great because he's so self-disciplined and he's so self-controlled. And when he comes here, when we go eat with him, I eat exactly what he eats. Jim's like, what are you going to eat at the restaurant? Exactly what Dr. Wallach eats. I always say that because I'm learning the way he eats. But, he has these wonderful dark chocolates that have minerals and everything in them. But they're one little, like he sells them, but they're one little package that you're supposed to have. Or he'll say, just have one in the morning, one in the evening, right? But see, that's just not, if I have it, I like, if I'm having it, it's because I'm stressed and I need to chew, and I'm just not self-controlled with it. So someday.
Your stress level adds to your weight gain too.
I know. It does, you're right.
So,
I've heard you say that before, so you got to stop,
I know.
Start talking to your plants more and get outside more.
And I help people think of that. Level. Yeah. But I've just come to the fact that I know I just can't. Yeah. No, I don't want to do it when I'm stressed out like that. If I can do it purposefully at a certain amount of time when I'm not stressed. If I'm stressed, I'll just eat the whole bag, and it's real sad. So I did not, though. I've been doing so good. And people who know how much I love chocolate, they know that. They'll be like, wow, she's not having chocolate. They're so blown away. Okay. So right now, when we think about the other things that we need to do for the lawn, because I was just wanting to repair it, but is that all, like, would we do all that? Because you said we don't need to do all that every year. Okay. So every year when it starts this time of year.
Every year you want to look at your yard and go, okay, what might it need?
What might it need?
Okay, like if you see a thinning spot, there may not be enough microbial life over there. There may be something else going on over there. I may need to address this little spot over here. So I'll go over with a little bit of salt. I'll go over with a little bit of alfalfa if necessary. Crack the soil open a little bit, get that in there, and help things out and help things along a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, no. If you're out there and you're hammering this stuff down every single year, you're working too hard. Life's not about working hard. Life's about sitting back and enjoying it.
And cooking barbecue.
Enjoy the mow. Let's help the grass get better so you can enjoy the mow and get out there and cut that grass and have fun in it.
Yes.
You don't want to be out there stressing, and you want to be out there enjoying.
Enjoying the mow.
So,
Enjoying the
If
mowing.
you're dealing with this organically, you don't have to do your yard every year. You
Yeah.
buy enough supplies. You just bought 50 pounds worth of alfalfa. That's 2 to 3 years. In my case, it's probably 5 of supplement that I would use in my yard. That's it.
Awesome.
Wow.
Why would I be feeding my yard chemical after chemical after chemical every year, $500-$600, and none of it works?
Right.
And all it does is give me more clay. You're going to go out and you're going to buy these supplies, and they're this year's and next year's yard.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have any questions?
No, but I was going to add one thing, Ron. I came up with a problem in the yard that was a fungus problem, and I sent you a picture. You said, "Yeah, it looks like that's what it is," and you had a very interesting natural solution to that. Maybe you could share that with our audience.
Listerine in a pump-up sprayer, a little squirt bottle. Because
Listerine.
what's going on is that there is something underground, whether it be tree roots or many other things that could be underground that are starting to break down. And that moss and that mold and that mildew is finally starting to come to the surface as it's finishing the breakdown of what is organically being eaten underneath.
Okay.
You don't want that on the surface, so you put just a hint of Listerine on it, drive it back into the soil, and amp the soil back up again. Because organic life in the soil is good, you just don't want mold growing on top of it or moss growing on top of it as it's breaking down. It's
Good.
all good, it's all natural, you just don't want to see it.
Yeah. Good. Thank you for sharing that again.
Do you have any suggestions for our blueberry plants? Did you have a question?
No, I thought we lost.
No. Our blueberry plants are not growing. Our vines are not growing very well. And I wasn't sure because I put the compost around them. But somebody told me that blueberries they grow better in a pot than they do in the ground. But I thought that this doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe.
No, you may have other problems around the area where you put the blueberries.
Mm-hmm.
Are you bringing your acid levels up? Are you making the soil a little bit more acidic?
You want me to do that, or am I doing that?
You should be doing that.
Oh,
Any
okay.
berry, blackberries, they all thrive on it. Roses thrive on it.
Oh,
Treat
okay.
it like a rose. Bring that soil concentrate a little bit higher in the other direction.
Okay.
Now, you don't want to go too high. You don't want to go so high that everything is burning around the plants.
Right.
That's not what I mean. And if you end up in that situation, go get some ashes and get ashes down in that soil and neutralize it as quick as you can.
Ashes from the fireplace? Ashes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashes from the fireplace, the fire pit in the backyard, or the barbecue grill, even better.
The barbecue grill, that would be you barbecuing. Are you barbecuing today? I know you did yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the meat to cool.
Oh, so we just have to do a show on someday because you were always barbecuing, but we never interview you about barbecuing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you love to barbecue.
Absolutely.
Now, are we making a mistake? Because when you said that, see, in all this winter freeze, we have a huge fireplace and we used it all the time. And so we took the ashes out and we put them on the compost pile. All of them, every time. So there's like lots. That's not going to hurt. Oh, good.
No, keep turning it in.
I didn't know where.
You just added more hardwood minerals
Yeah.
to your compost that you're going to turn around and put in your yard and in your garden. And that's going to give you that much more for the plants you're going to grow this year.
Well, we've heard you say that. We've heard Dr. Wallach say that. And so we just followed your advice. And I think it's going to pay off for us.
Well,
We're
Ron.
gonna have some incredible growth.
Some incredible
Stand
growth.
back and hold on.
Well, I look forward. I will.
Sure you sharpen your lawnmower blades before you start this year, though.
How come?
You should sharpen your blades twice a year if you like to enjoy your mowing. Because you don't want to shred the grass, you want to cut it.
Sharpen our blades.
Got it.
Do we do that ourselves?
I don't do it ourselves. I have it done.
Do we do it? Okay. Thank you, Ron. How would people reach you?
they can reach me on Green Wizard on YouTube. And through there, you will find email address, thegreenwizard@hotmail.com. No spaces. Get a hold of me anytime you wish, and I will be here to answer your questions.
Thank you so much for helping us learn how to get rid of the bad freeze, the brown in our yard, and make it beautiful again and recover. We just thank you for joining us.
Great talking to you again, Ron.
And enjoy your day.
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. It's so much fun talking to him.
It was fun. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
That was fun. Hey, it was our first time.
Let me call him back and tell him how good we thought it was. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. We got to go watch it. So what do we do
Wait,
now?
I'm just gonna...
Ended.
Hey, man, just a quick note to say we thought it was a great show. And
But ask him how he thinks we did.
How'd you feel about it? Yeah, answers. Ask him. What'd you think?
Did you get StreamYards to close correctly?
I just ended the broadcast.
She just ended the broadcast, she said.
Okay, she hit the one up in the top. She has to leave studio first.
Okay.
It's at the bottom. Go back in. It'll show it's still playing. Tell her just log back into StreamYards and go back into the current broadcast.
Okay, I've got you on speaker here, so she can
Okay,
hear
I'm
you,
in
Ron.
StreamYard. I didn't log out of StreamYard.
Okay.
Past broadcast.
Go back into your broadcast.
It says ended.
It's ended, but you didn't leave the. You didn't leave. You've got to hit two buttons to shut StreamYard.
Oh, so I enter broadcast studio.
Yeah, on the bottom of the screen there is one that says leave studio.
Yeah.
You have to hit that first, and then you go up and you end stream.
Uh-oh.
If you leave it in studio, you're still running.
Okay.
It's still recording. It's still saving it to StreamYards.
Okay, so hold on. So how do I get back in?
Yeah, just go back into the same broadcast you just had.
I'm trying. It tells me it ended. So would I use those three dots? Download recording.
You shouldn't have to hit any three dots. It should just show it as there. Like you're going back and hit create broadcast again and see if it reopens. I just want to make sure you're logged out of it correctly.
It says enter broadcast studio. Would that work?
Yep. Is that the one? That might be the one.
It says you're entering a broadcast studio, but then it's going to remember to greet your viewers. So it's like going to start again.
Now, does it show the camera still running? Does it show you still in studio?
No, my camera's not running. Let me see. Oh, yeah, we're still in studio. Mic is working. That's why I go back in and do it again. But
No,
I just allowed it.
You see at the very bottom in the center,
Uh-huh.
it says exit or leave studio, exit studio.
No, I already did that. I hit that red X, leave studio, after I ended the broadcast.
Okay.
But
I'm just double checking to make sure because it's the first time you've used it.
Okay, so I'm on. So now let me get back out. Okay. View on Facebook. So I can go view it now.
Yeah, it may take a second or two. I tried to refresh and it wouldn't come back up. It kept me going where we started.
Okay, I did close Facebook while I was on there. Let's look. Wait, no, I don't want to go to Facebook Live.
Yeah, it should be resetting. It takes a second or two on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, well, I was learning. My eyes are so funny when I'm trying to.
Good.
Okay.
But doesn't that make it easier? It's not like you're over the radio or over the phone trying to have a discussion with somebody and you're not able to read their facial expressions and what have you. This just makes it so much easier. And think about it as far as the viewer is concerned on the radio or listener on the radio. They're hearing a camaraderie they're not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes across a little bit better, in my opinion.
Well, I like this approach, myself. And
Okay, now I'm going to end stream
now
on
that
YouTube.
now that we've used it once, maybe it'll come quicker.